Welcome to Comic Power. I am your host, Comic Killer 72. Welcome to Wicked Wednesday, where we discuss all the new comics that's coming out this week. Every Wednesday is like Christmas for us nerds because that's when the new comics come out. These are my recommendations for the best books to pick up on Wednesday. But here's some other information first. As you can see, I'm putting up this video mad early. I'm doing some travel next week with my job, so I gotta put this up early and it's gonna be much shorter than usual. In addition, please contribute to my new Patreon page to help build this channel. You could give at least $1 a month. All proceeds go into improving the equipment to make this channel even better. I will have a link in the description. Thank you all who have subscribed to this channel and making it past 1,000 subscribers. But for real, it should be 100K. So go out there and talk about it and tell others. But for now, let's get into New Comic Day. And DC Comics is giving us Action Comics number 991. This is part 5 of the Oz Effect storyline. There's going to be a lenticular cover that costs $3.99 and a regular cover that costs $2.99 of the same design. We're right around the corner from Action Comics 1000, which will be the 80th anniversary of Superman. That's going to be a big deal. Next up is Batman Lost, which is a one-shot. This is going to be based off of information coming out of the Dark Multiverse, first revealed in Dark Knight's Metal. The cover price on this is going to be $5, by the way. I asked last week if DC is giving us too much Batman, and it was a split decision. Some of you said yes, some of you said no. Speaking of Batman, Detective Comics issue 968 comes out this week, and it's the finale of The Lonely Place of Living, which stars Tim Drake. To casual fans that don't keep up with comic books that much, Dick Grayson is the only Robin, but avid comic book readers know there's been multiple Robins, and Tim Drake was one of them. Next up is The Flash number 34, and this is part 1 of a new storyline called Black Hole. The Flash has recently discovered he has new powers, and he's trying to get a grip on what those are. There's a cover B version by Mike McCone, which is based on the design from the movie Justice League, which drops on November 17th. I'll be there, and I know you will too. Next up is Supergirl number 15. This is part 1 of a new story arc called Plain Sight. And this cover A is a very creepy looking cover, don't you think? But what's selling Supergirl lately is going to be the cover B Artgerm variants like this. People are really digging them, just like the Jenny Frison Wonder Woman, Joshua Middleton Aquaman, and Frank Cho Harley Quinn. In all these instances, the cover B version is kicking the ass of cover A. DC helped elevate some underrated talent. Joshua Middleton's work was so good, it had me buying Aquaman. I never bought Aquaman. Next up is Wonder Woman number 34, and this is part 3 of the Children of God storyline, and it guest stars Grail as the villain. This is very important because Grail is the daughter of Darkseid. She makes a great Wonder Woman villain because she's actually more powerful than Wonder Woman. This is a great match for a future Wonder Woman sequel in live action in the movies. To be such a great character, Wonder Woman's Rose Gallery is actually pretty thin. Wonder Woman does not have a Jenny Frison variant this week. There's going to be a Tony Daniel issue number 700 variant shown here. That's it for DC this week. Some very strong submissions. Now let's see what Marvel is up to. First up is Avengers number 672, which is going to a second print. This is going to be a battle between the Avengers proper and the teenage splinter group, the Champions. The first print dropped on October 4th, and it has an homage swipe to Avengers number 53 from the Silver Age. The teenage heroes like Kamala Khan and Miles Morales were all former Avengers who split over a disagreement and then started the Champions. Next up is the Master of Kung Fu number 126. Marvel Legacy is picking up with the original numbering, so they're starting over from where he last ended. Marvel gave us some foreshadowing with him appearing in the Totally Awesome Hulk number 15 earlier this year, where Marvel did an all-Asian superhero team-up. His real name is Shang-Chi, and he's loosely based on Bruce Lee. He made his debut in 1973, and he was one of the few characters of color to headline his own title, running from the mid-70s up to the early 1980s. He made my list of one of the top 10 Asian comic book characters in comics. See the link in the description. Next up is Moon Knight number 188. This is part 1 of a storyline called Crazy Runs in the Family. This character has always had a very strong cult following. I'm curious to see if Marvel is going to use him in a Netflix series. I think that would work. Next up is She-Hulk issue 159. This is part 1 of the Jen Walters Must Die storyline. The cover A is drawn by Mike Deodato. He's drawn some very good stuff, but I think this might be his worst effort so far. What do you think? Speak up in the comments section. Next up is Spirits of Vengeance number 1, which is also going to a second print. You got Blade, Hellstorm, Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider, and Satana. Being that it's horror, I guess you can think of this sort of like DC's Justice League Dark. Issue number 2 also drops this week, And this is part 2 of a 5-part miniseries called War at the Gates of Hell. Next up is Star Wars number 38, and they've been very consistent with Star Wars. It's one of the best looking things that Marvel is publishing. Of course, there's going to be more action figure variants. They used up all their main characters, so they're dipping into unknown characters at this point. However, this is one of the best looking action figure variants they've produced in some time. Next up is our report on independent comics and small publishers. First up is Force number 1 from Action Lab. It's the story of an NFL quarterback who's going to go through a whole bunch of drama right before the Super Bowl. There's issues with his health, finances, a scheming agent, and a backstabbing backup quarterback. You know, sports have never translated the comic books very well. I'm going to see if this is different. Next up, and also from Action Lab, is Toyetica number 4. This is one of those left field oddball books that has found a following. Sort of like ElfQuest or something like that. This is not for everyone, but the people that like it really love it. If I were you, I'd buy issue number 1 and put it to the side. You can get it for about $5 to $6. It may pay off later on a good flip as this series grows its audience. Next up is Kong on the Planet of the Apes number 1 from Boom Studios. This is a good idea to match up these two ape franchises. I'm surprised that no one did it a long time ago or actually have them meet up each other in the movie. This is going to ship with 5 different covers, but the cover A is fine with me, and then it captures the beach Statue of Liberty scene, which is so famous from the original 1968 movie. Next up is Harcourt Legacy, number 1 of a 3-part miniseries, and this is from Action Lab Danger Zone. It's a story of an aging occultist who's on his deathbed, and he wants to pass on his legacy to his grandniece, a girl named Violet, who's also very moody. But Violet has a sister who steps in and causes trouble. This looks very promising if you like books about magic. Next up is Rivers of London, Cry Fox number 1 from Titan Comics. This also is about magic, but it crosses over into the detective genre as well. This is an offshoot of the novel that was first released in 2011. Next up is Iron Maiden, Legacy of the Beast number 1 of a 5-part miniseries. This is from Heavy Metal, with them jumping into comics. It's based on the Eddie creature that's associated with the heavy metal band Iron Maiden. I don't have a picture of it due to technical issues. Next up, let's see what Image Comics is up to. They always deliver top-notch quality. First up is Coyotes number 1. This is from Sean Lewis, the same writer that gave us The Few. And first off, that cover looks amazing. I really like this. I'll be buying it just for the cover. It's done by a new artist named Caitlin Yarsky. It states that women are hunted by a legion of wolves that roam a border, and some of these women start disappearing, and the survivors band together to wage war. A detective is trying to figure all this out, and he stumbles across a young girl named Red. She's got a secret and a sword. I'm assuming that's her on the cover. Yeah, I'm getting this. This is my runner-up pick of the week. Next up is Slots number 1, which is going to a second print, which looks like this. It looks like something that's inspired by Frank Miller doing the Sin City run. It's a story of a washed-up boxer that goes to Las Vegas seeking redemption. Issue number 2 also drops this week, and he meets his estranged son. Apparently, not everybody is happy to see him. Next up is the Speculation Pick of the Week. And that's going to be Port of Earth number 1. In this new series, aliens come down to Earth, not for war or peace, but for a business deal. They want to open up the Earth as a spaceport in exchange for advanced technology. But who's going to enforce the law when the visitors break port restrictions and wreak havoc on the cities? Newly formed Earth security agents, that's who. I'm really looking forward to this. Image has knocked it out the park with their science fiction like Saga and 7 to Eternity and recently Realm. There's even great books that people looked over from Image, such as Hadrian's Wall, Packless, and Horizon. Port of Earth is definitely something you don't want to miss. It's going to ship with 2 different covers. And it will be a space, alien, political thriller action series. We're not done yet, folks. There's a few more indies to talk about. Next up is Ghost Money number 4 from Lion Forge. It's a conspiracy action thriller. It was first published in French in the early 2000s. It's being reprinted here for America now in English. You definitely would need to go back and read Ghost Money number 1 to figure out what's going on. It was my pick of the week for August 9th, 2017. Next up is Bloodshot Salvation number 1, which is going to a second print from Valiant Comics. And this continuity is told about 8 years in the future after Bloodshot Reborn. And Bloodshot has a daughter named Jessie, and of course the bad guys are going to try to come and get her. The plot has a very strong feel that's similar to the Logan movie that this dropped with Fox Studios. So think of Bloodshot sort of like Logan and Jesse is going to be like X-23. This was the pick of the week for September 20th, 2017. You definitely want this in your arsenal. Next up, and also from Valiant Comics, is Harbinger Renegades #0. This is a setup issue for the upcoming Harbinger Wars 2, which is going to drop in 2018. Sometime in the future, I will have to do a Harbinger Explain video. People know about Valiant, but they really don't understand it, so they don't buy it because they don't really get it. I figure more people would buy it if they understood it. So I'll put that on the to-do list. You know the drill. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, give it the thumbs up, and share these videos on social media so others learn about comic power. That's about it for today. Thank you for watching Wicked Wednesday, where I review all the new comic books for a new comic day. Be sure to follow my blog at comicpower.net. On social media, follow me at facebook.com/comicpower.net and comicpower-universe.tumblr.com. And don't forget twitter.com/comicpowersub. I also sell comics on eBay at this link. This is Comic Killer 72 for Comic Power saying bye-bye. And don't forget to share this video, click on subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and tell everyone you know about this channel to help it grow. Thank you for your support. See you in the theaters for Thor Ragnarok on November 3rd.